Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Singapore. I'm Peter Sluglett, Director of the Middle East Institute, and it's a great pleasure to welcome you all to our workshops on regional perspectives on Islamic finance. I know that Islamic finance, a subject on which I know almost nothing, has become a matter of great interest both to practitioners and academics. And this workshop represents an attempt to bring the, I think, friendly parties together. Most of the participants are joining us from Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore, but I know that two people have come from Egypt and the UK, and I'm particularly grateful to them. But I'm grateful for everyone for coming, and I hope you will all find the workshop a stimulating and enriching experience. It's my pleasure to thank several people whose enthusiasm and commitment has made this event possible. The first of these is my dear friend and colleague, Professor Clement of the Middle East Institute, whose energy and determination has provided the main dynamics. Clem has met many of you on his travels in the region. The workshop was his idea, and I'm delighted that it has come to fruition. As always, I'd like to thank our wonderful events team, particularly Sharifa Huda Al-Junaid and the indefatigable Rommel Hernando for putting everything together with their customary flair, efficiency, thoughtfulness, and unflappability. I'd also like to thank Human Sabeti for his help over the last few weeks. It's now my pleasure to hand over the proceedings to Clem Henry, with my best personal wishes for a successful and enjoyable 2 days.
Well, thank you, Peter. Thank you all for coming. It's been quite a challenge to bring together what I hope will be a reasonably coherent set of presentations which get transformed into papers, which get transformed into a book. Now, just on a personal note, I'm recovering from an operation, and so I'm not as energetic as I might be, but I do want to have a chance to talk to all of you individually before you leave to make plans for this book, because I am going to be around, and as I recover, I will be increasingly insistent on getting the results so that we really have something to show for the next day and a half of presentations. Let me also just say that I became involved with this when I came to Singapore last November, a couple of years ago, because, well, although I was working on other subjects, I wanted to take advantage of being in this part of the world to get to know a Muslim population that is, at least as numerous as the Muslims in the Arab world, which I have spent my career studying. Now, one of the subjects that I did study as a political economist was Islamic finance, and it seems to me, though, that Islamic finance today, the future of it, is really going to be determined, I think, much more out in this part of the world than back in the Middle East, where to date it's really only got beyond a 5 or 10% market share in Saudi Arabia and some of the other wealthy little Gulf statelets. But in the bigger countries, Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, it's really just in its very early stages. I think maybe a real test is going to be Indonesia. And I was very interested to plan this so that we could compare and contrast the Indonesian and the Malaysian experiences. Malaysia is a relatively small country, but it's really gone out. Its government has supported Islamic finance like no other government in the Muslim world. and it's really become, as efficient as these operations can be. Indonesia, up there to the 5% mark now in terms of market share, they also have decided that they want to give it a push. And so this workshop, I think, has to work with that idea in the back of our minds that we're dealing with a potential sleeping giant, which may be really sort of along with some of the other large Muslim countries. India even will eventually get Islamic finance, and of course you have Pakistan. But the non-Arab world, but notably Indonesia, is of special interest, and that's why I have tried to put together a workshop that will give us the experience of Malaysia and the starting points of Indonesia. Without any further ado, I'd like to give the floor over to my colleague Jeremy Kingsley, who's an anthropologist who is specialized on Indonesia, and who also is a lawyer and hence has some familiarity with the financial world. So without any further ado, let's get to work. Panel 1. Thank you very much.